Going to be a bird dog. So far we covered the front plank, which targets a lot of the front of your abs here. It's the front abdominals. Side plank gets the sides and even the back core, I call it. Now bird dog gets those deep, these are called intrinsic core stabilizing muscles, so like around your spine. Extremely important, very neglected. A lot of people do not work those muscles. That's why it's really important to throw it in your core routine. Now let me show you from the front setup. First, hands on the shoulders, knees under hips. From there, again, putting the shoulders away, getting that nice long spine, and I'm extending my right arm and left leg. You can alternate or just do one side. Again, especially if you find asymmetry. A lot of times I see individuals with very easy here, but here they get very wobbly. So that tells me, all right, we got to work the other side. So do a 2-to-1 ratio. Let me show you bird dog from the side. As you can see, I'm keeping that nice neutral spine, so make sure your head doesn't go down or like this. Keep your shoulders away, extending. If you will see, my hips are level. So again, if I will put some kind of feedback here on my back, this ball should stay nice and extending, getting this long spine. Now, how would I make it harder? By narrowing the base of support. This is my favorite way. A lot of times I see when people get close, knees and hands. Now you see my hand is almost in front of my knee, or you can even put it in front of my knee. Now you can see that really creates much more instability by narrowing the base of support. It makes the bird dog much harder. So try that. How would I make it harder in other way? By putting something soft, squishy, for example, under my knees. So that, again, just the fact that I'm on the squishy surface puts some more work on my core. It makes it harder. As far as how would I make it easier, I would suggest to go one limb at a time. So just getting that nice long plank and going around the world, extending here, and then as you get good at this, you can do alternate. Of course, there's a way of doing it. This is probably the hardest way, when you actually go on one side and bringing it back. As you can see, I still got to work on that one. So you can make it on the same side, extending your arms. So bird dog, great exercise for the deep core stabilizing muscles. All right, this is one of my favorite core exercises. It really forces the core to work with your glutes, and that's the way we use our bodies, because we are bipedal creatures. So the ability to work in here, kind of like a diagonal pattern when your glute and core works together, is essential for sports performance, or just simply making sure that your body is working efficiently. So first I'll show you my knee is in front of my hip. This knee is directly under my hip here, and I anchor resistant band. You can of course anchor it to different heights. You can have it a high anchor, mid, low anchor, as long as there's some kind of resistance pulling you from that side. Very important that whatever you anchor yourself, it's something safe, so it's stable. And from here, I just ask usually to extend in front, bracing my core, squeezing the glute on that side. So I'm driving my knee down, and that will provide you with a lot of stability. Make sure, a lot of times some of those people are very tight in the hip flexors, especially you just got out of the office. And I will link the video where I talk about stretching the hip flexors and releasing the tension here. Because if you start the exercise like that, it will be almost impossible to gain the stability. You really have to be able to lock it in here in your hip. So make sure that this is release the tension, and also I like to activate the glutes. So I'll also link the video where I talk about glute activations. So again, extending. Now I made it a little harder, as you can see. So that will be a progression. I'm pretty much in the midline here with my leg, and that's how you probably run. You're not going to run wide. You're going to stride with your leg in front. So this is really great exercise for runners. Again, I'm from here extending, holding for 2-3 seconds. Make sure you're breathing using your diaphragm. Now to bump it up even more, I start adding a little bit of a rotation. So I'm driving in here. Again, look at my shoulders, they're away from my ears. Try not to muscle it up the band with your upper body. A lot of times I see people holding it tight and using shoulders and upper body muscles. You really want to visualize that you're holding it with your core. This is essential in this exercise. It changes the whole, where you're going to feel it. So I'm holding it with the core and the glute. So this is a key. So of course you can make it easier by widening your stance. Harder by moving the band farther away or getting a harder band, so it's going to create some more tension. So those would be the easiest way to make it easier, harder. There's another way. You can just pull from the side here. So I'll have the anchor on this side, on the side where my leg is up. That's going to create a bit more stability. So you can make it easier that way. I am a big fan of pulling from the side of the knee down. Really authentic the way we use our core and glute, so highly recommend. Favorite exercise, you can see side plank targets the kind of preventing from bending too much, so that really strengthens a lot of the back core and sides here. Front plank gets the front, and this one just the one when you rotate or prevent rotation. Start always from getting good at being stable before you start incorporating movement. So for example, for this exercise here, you can even start on 2 knees, build some stability before you start creating some more challenging positions like this one, or before you start actually really moving more. So same with the plank, before we start tapping, make sure you can get a good plank. So as far as the time, I usually don't like to tell people how long to do certain things, because I don't know what they can do. So just start from establishing a baseline. So let's say if it's a plank, I will get into that plank position and put a stopwatch here or use your phone and see how long you can keep a good plank. But again, I'm looking for a good plank, because once you start dropping your hips down, that tells me your core is not working, or you start cheating by lifting your hips up. Or if it's a plank, side plank, you start twisting and it's not you're not able to hold that strong position, well then I will call it a technical failure, so you have to stop. So keep it honest. Once you establish the baseline, you can take it from there. So you can add always about 10% every week. So make sure it's not like a lot of people I notice do, they just have a routine and they just do the same thing over and over. Your body eventually adapts and it doesn't challenge it, so you're not really producing much of the results, and that's why people get stuck with in their fitness journey. So make sure you always bump it up every week. Try to add, keep it honest. So all the exercises you see, I'll give you, I call it honesty tools. So when you do your plank or even the half kneeling toe, make sure you have that 3-point touch, like I have it here. If it's a plank, make sure you're, or bird dogs, make sure everything is nice and aligned. So, or using some kind of a ball on your lower back so nothing is moving there. So I like to keep it honest. This is the most important thing when it comes to core stability, because remember, the most important of training your core is teaching you to be stable. If I start moving and here in my lower back, well, I'm missing the whole point of the exercise. This is not core stability anymore because I'm unstable. So it was Michał with Rampa Coaching. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. Shoot me some comments. I always look forward feedback, or if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.